Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Frequent Shoulder 158, posted to r/Am I Overreacting, March 21st, 2025. Am I overreacting? I found weird pictures in my boyfriend's iPad. I went out of town and my boyfriend stayed home because he had work. I came back and thought he was acting a bit off. So I checked his pictures on his iPad that synced directly from his phone. In his recently deleted folder, I found a picture of my side of the bed where my medication, book, and melatonin are, a picture of my desk, a picture of a printed out picture of my brother and I, along with a handwritten note that's on the fridge, and a picture of our dresser. We're not planning on moving or selling any of these items either. I'm convinced that he took them so he could remember how everything looked before hiding them because he invited someone over. Am I overreacting? I don't want to say anything about it to him until I get a little clarity. Edit clarification. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Honestly, wow, I could never come up with that explanation. Are there any other signs of someone being there? Obi responds, "The only reason I did was because it's all stuff of mine. That's what's weird. Like anything that could be left out where someone would question if a girl lived there. We just moved into our new place, so at first glance, you wouldn't know for sure if there was a girl living there or not." Commenter 2. You just need to bring it up casually, out of the blue, and see if he panics/scrambles, because it is weird. I can't really think of an alternative explanation, but that doesn't mean there isn't one. If he's able to calmly answer immediately when you ask with a sensible-sounding alternative, then fair enough. Pay close attention to both what he says and how he says it. That's my advice. And if he immediately goes for, "Why were you looking through my stuff?" before answering the question, deflection. Opie responds, "Great advice, thank you. I have a feeling his only answer will be, 'Why were you going through my stuff?' unfortunately, but I'm going to bring it up." Commenter 3. Why did his behavior immediately send you to his pictures? Opie responds, "I don't have access to his phone and no messages synced to the iPad, so I just figured I would look at what I could. He was being sneaky with his phone and just acting different overall." Commenter 4. He cheated. Dump him. Downvoted commenter. You don't know for sure. He could dump her for being a boundary breaker and going through his private things. Opie responds, "He's gone through my phone multiple times while I was sleeping, and for no reason, so he opened that can of worms. Even after that, I still never went through his stuff. It was only until I could tell that he was acting differently." Commenter 5. This is weird. My boyfriend's acting odd, I know, let me check his deleted pictures, makes no sense. Pictures are weird, but the fact that you came up with that is insane. If nothing like this has ever happened before. I doubt he was hiding all your stuff and taking pictures to remember where it was. He probably knows where most of the stuff goes already, and if he did put something in the wrong place, he could just easily say, "Oh, I moved it. I thought it would be better here." Literally anything. Obi responds, "We've had issues with him cheating early on in our relationship. He was displaying similar behavior then as well. I don't have access to his messages, so I looked in his photos. Should I have done it? Probably not. But I did, and just wanted some answers on if I was overreacting about it." Commenter 5. Well, if he cheated early on, I'd be suspicious too. How long ago is early on? You think if you confronted him, he'd lie? I honestly don't know what else you could do besides ask him. He could lie, but I'm assuming you know him well enough to know if he's lying. Opie responds, "Like our first year together. We've been dating 6 years, but I also have never gone through his phone or anything since then, so it could have been more recent and I just had no idea. I definitely think he would lie, unless it was something innocent, but I can't find anywhere in my brain that can give me any other explanation." Commenter 6. You said he cheated before. What sort of steps were taken to ensure he'd be a safe partner after that? Because an open device policy is usually agreed upon, indefinitely. Cheating is a character flaw and requires years of self-imposed soul-searching and therapy and regaining of trust, 5 to 7 years before return to normalcy. Probably he gotta keep his relationship without much inconvenience, and He's at it again because cheaters don't respect their partners in the first place. Cheating is abuse, emotional, psychological, physical, and even spiritual. Don't let him know you're onto him because you have one chance to gather evidence. Then you have one chance to confront and read him, pretending you know everything while never revealing what you know, nor your sources. Then you leave his ass because he never did the reform which would make him a safe partner. None of this would be happening if that was the case. Listen to your gut because liars only tell you what they think you already know. Unfaithfulness is in the heart first and foremost. OP responds, honestly, he promised he would change, and I saw that change in him and forgave him. I was very young though, 23, so I didn't really consider all of the implications or understand all the reassurances that I needed from him. I'm much older and see things differently for sure and think I need to reevaluate what's going on, especially after I figure out this situation. Thank you for this. It is very eye-opening. Commenter 7. He could have had the boys over. My friends are savages, just playing devil's advocate. We just moved to a new state for his job. He does not have any friends here locally. Commenter 8. This whole thing sounds weird. The last thing I would think of if my significant other was acting strange is grabbing their iPad to check their photos. And you said he was acting strange. How? I've seen this question asked several times with no answer. We'd all love to know. OP responds, he was being very secretive with his phone, taking it with him wherever he went. He was only on Instagram every time I could see his screen. There has not been any notifications on his screen ever, of any kind. I sent him something on Instagram yesterday, and his phone didn't light up or vibrate. Similar things were also happening when I found out he cheated on me very early in our relationship. Update in the comments. March 22nd, 2025. The next day. Update. I was not overreacting. I confronted him directly with the photos and asked him why he took them. He immediately said, "Why were you looking through my stuff?" I told him I felt like he's been acting shady, so I decided to look. I asked to go through his phone, and he just said, "Why?" I told him that I needed to see it because I don't trust him. He got so weird, saying I didn't need to see it and that I just need to relax. So I asked yet again, "What is up with the pictures?" And he literally didn't know what to say. Like, he couldn't even come up with an explanation that made any sense himself. Then I asked if he brought someone home while I was gone, and he said no, of course, and that I was being ridiculous. I again said that I needed to see his phone for proof of that, and he refused. I debated asking my neighbor for his Ring doorbell footage from the time I was gone and see if there was a girl that went into my apartment, but I'm not even going to waste my time. His reaction was all I needed to know, and I was right. Should I have not gone through his things? Yes. But did I? Yes. And found out he was cheating on me? Also yes. So thank you to everyone who gave me all of their opinions. I really appreciate it. Concluding comments. Commenter 4. Oh, honey, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm glad you found out now before wasting any more years of your life on him. The best revenge on him and the best thing for you is to live your best life. Be happy while he continues to reap what he sows. This dumpster fire doesn't deserve another moment of your life. Good luck to you. Take care of yourself and find the love you deserve. It's out there. It took me years and a broken heart, but I've spent the last 26 years with the man who healed my heart and showed me what true love really looks like. Sparkly heart emoji. OP responds, I agree. I wasted too many already, but I can't go back. So I will do my best with my future years for sure. It's definitely a lesson learned. This is inspiring. I hope the same will happen for me one day. Heart emoji. Commenter 5. Why are you looking at your boyfriend's iPad and phone? Are you a psychologically deranged stalker? OP responds, he has literally done the same to me multiple times prior, so I guess we both are. Commenter 5's comment is just such a Reddit comment. Like, you recognized a pattern of behavior that you realized previously from when he was cheating on you and decided to look at his iPad? What are you, psychologically deranged? Me personally though, if I found photos like that on my significant other's device and they were deleted, my first thought would be, oh, they had to clean and they wanted to put everything back where they found it. But OP also has that history with their significant other that justifies them being extremely suspicious of their behavior. Also, the fact that he was consistently checking her phone to see if she was cheating just tells me that there was a bit of hypocrisy and quite a bit of projection going on his part, and I can almost guarantee that in his mind it was either he was trying to justify his own cheating by seeing if she was cheating, or he kind of felt, well, if I'm cheating on her, then she's got to be cheating on me, and I need evidence, and him getting all worked up about it, and, going through her phone, trying to find some kind of evidence to justify his behavior or whatever. That's just my tinfoil hat theory, though. This post was collected by Shark Ava, and their tagline is, "No tonight, just had 50 justice orders." The original OP is Odd Paramedic 3007, posted in r/Am I the Asshole, the 18th of December, 2025. Am I the asshole for not putting my pregnant girlfriend on the deed of the house? My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years. She is pregnant, and the baby is due in April 2026. Before we found out she was pregnant, we had discussed possibly buying a house together. After we found out she was pregnant, this plan went into overdrive. When we went through the process of getting pre-approved, I discovered that she has pretty significant credit card debt. Given that a joint mortgage would be significantly more expensive than me getting a mortgage alone, I said, since I am the only one on the mortgage, I think I should be the only one on the deed. My girlfriend said she was okay with this. We found a house that we both liked, made an offer, it was accepted, and we're both closing the second week in January. She's now refusing to move into the house unless she's on the deed. I'm refusing to put her on the deed given that she is not on the mortgage. She is not on the mortgage, and 100% of the down payment comes from my savings. Edit. I am paying solely the down payment, mortgage payments, and utilities, HOA fees, insurance, and maintenance fees. Am I the asshole? Comments. Fuel Femme, downvoted. So you don't love her enough to get past some mistakes she's made, but you like her enough to buy a house and have a kid with her? Got it. You're the asshole. OP responds, she has $90K in credit card debt. When she represented it, it was about $10K. Lying to your significant other about something so significant when you're planning a future is a choice, not a mistake. User Consistent Pickle 88 comments, 90,000? Oh, wow. The debt is that bad. Yeah, yikes. Woo. She really misled you about her finances before the pregnancy. I guess you're not the asshole now that I have a better understanding of the timeline and how big of a lie she told. User Organic History 205 comments, you should put in your post that she has nearly $100,000 in credit card debt. That indicates severe financial issues. You would not want her on the deed because she could get sued and collected against or take out a HELOC. Be clear and set attainable goals. She needs to go to financial counseling and get a debt management plan before being out on the deed. User Alconium comments, 100K in debt, and they've only been together for 2 years. She's a lunatic thinking she's entitled to be on the deed. User Pink11 Amity comments, have you had some discussions about how you would combine finances and solve her debt? Is she willing to start budgeting and paying off her debt? Can she show you over the next few months that she's willing to work on her financial management? Even though it'll be especially hard now that there's many things to buy for the baby and maternity leave to deal with. OP responds, I'm not willing to work on that until I get a straight answer for why she lied to me about her finances. Still have not received an answer. We did meet with an attorney who did make some suggestions to her, including filing for bankruptcy, which is a complete lack of trust I have in her at the moment. User I know some things too comments, if she moves in, even as a tenant or guest, you need an agreement with her so she doesn't end up entitled to the house from living there or being your partner. Consult a lawyer. 100K worth of credit card debt is fucking insane. I wouldn't even want to marry someone who's that terrible with money. She will drag you down. OP responds, we've talked to a lawyer. She cannot be entitled to the house unless I add her to the deed or we get married. User Miami Lawyered comments, not the asshole. I'm a family law attorney. Putting her on the deed would be a disaster for you. Do not do it until she gets her financial house in order. User Matt the Hack comments, don't put her on the deed until you get married. Don't get married just because you have a kid together either. This whole situation is fucked. Judgment, not the asshole. Update, 6 weeks later. A couple of weeks after my original post, my girlfriend broke up with me due to the housing situation and not being on the deed. She started looking for a new place. We were living together. She could not find a place that she could afford on her own that was not sketchy, and none of her friends were interested in finding a place together. Given the situation, I agreed to let her move in. While I know it is not ideal, she is still pregnant with my kid. She will stay in one of the guest rooms. I am still paying 100% of the costs for the house, and she will not be on the deed. She will be responsible for her own groceries. We have a written lease agreement, but I will not be charging her rent. She will need to buy her own furniture, bed, etc. That said, she has made multiple comments about how it's not really her home, how it's unfair to her, how she feels she has no security, and how she's at my mercy since everything is in my name. She has asked to decorate the whole house. I am opposed, but as a compromise, I told her that she is free to decorate her room and the nursery as long as she does not make any permanent changes, like new paint. From my perspective, I'm being more than fair by providing a free place to live and covering all housing expenses, even after we broke up. I am responsible for my kid and providing said kid stable housing, and that's what I am doing. Comments. Cusp of Queens. It's not really her home and she doesn't have any security. Good for her for basic understanding. Too bad she doesn't understand she's in a situation of her own making. Well Tall, 8,000 comments. It is her home. It is not her house. She is a tenant. She is not a homeowner. She is living on OP's generosity and good graces. It sounds like she reached too far. Like, as I read it, OP was going to continue the relationship even though she obfuscated her massive debt. He wasn't going to put her on the deed when he was literally paying for everything, but she was still going to get most of the milk for free without buying the cow. He put a line in the sand that it belonged to him, and she couldn't let it go. I understand the security concern, but she was a gigantic liability to him and them as a family unit. He was just being realistic about it. She should have just played nice. As she's finding out, she doesn't have options after all. And that sweet deal was the best she was going to get, and she probably blew it forever. I would anticipate she is going to try real hard to leverage the kid to get him to marry her to get her out of this predicament. I hope he's come to understand this whole situation and who and what she is, and doesn't fall for it. User Detroit Smash 8701 comments. Still get a paternity test all the same. Trust, but verify. User Victor of Arda comments, LOL, she's not at your mercy, she's at the bank's mercy, being nearly 100k in debt, holy shit. And she's still got the audacity to complain when you're taking care of her. I get the vibe this isn't going to be the end of the story, so I'll keep an eye out for future updates. But here's a question for you guys in the comments. If the 90k in credit card debt wasn't there, would that change the post's initial outcome of OP being the asshole? Also, on a side note, OP, you should probably lead with the amount of debt first, so that way you don't have people just making outward assumptions and jumping to the conclusion that you're just going after her for past mistakes, and not the fact that she has a literal, fully loaded BMW M4 worth of debt on her shoulders. This post was collected by Shark Ava, and their tagline is, "No tonight, just add 50 justice or..." The original OP is HotLab4411, posted in r/mytheasshole, January 29th, 2026. Oh yeah, it's new. Am I the asshole for ruining a funeral? My aunt, Dad's sister, passed away, and I'm back in town, so I decided to go to the funeral. She had 2 children, her son who lived with her, and a daughter I will call Sue. They lived in a small town about 2 hours away. It was going to be a family viewing at the funeral home and then graveside service. As I was signing the guest book, a cousin I hadn't seen in years came over, and we started talking. This was in the hallway before you get to the viewing room. Sue came out and shushed us. I was embarrassed, thinking we were talking too loud, even though I didn't think so. So, we went into the viewing room. There, everyone was sitting and looking at a monitor with videos of the deceased. They had sad music playing, but no one was talking, just sitting quietly, looking at the monitor. After about 15 minutes, I whispered to my sister, who was in front of me, that I was going to bounce. She said she would go out with me because she had something for me in the car. She and her husband followed me out. Then, their adult children and their family followed. My cousin also came out to talk in the parking lot. I noticed other people leaving also. We all talked in the parking lot for a little while and left. Sue contacted me on Facebook and said I ruined her mom's funeral by leaving and taking half the people with me. I don't think I did anything wrong, but apologized and said I had an emergency come up and had to leave. She then blocked me. I feel bad that I upset her at her mom's funeral, but I've never been to a funeral, family receiving/viewing, where no one was allowed to talk. Am I the asshole for leaving the viewing early and having half the room leave with me? Update just for some clarification. In our family, it's normally a 3-day process. On day 2, there's a family night. This is where everyone gets together to talk and remember the loved one. In her case, there was no family night, and this was billed as the family will be receiving during this time. We did not think it would be quiet time to stare at the monitor. Of course, the process does change, such as for my father. He was in hospice, so we told everyone to come see him while he was alive, so we would not be holding a formal family night once he does pass. This was his wishes. Comments. Misandro 75. Not the asshole. It's not like you stood on a chair and proclaimed, "This blows! Everyone back to my place!" Other people just took their cue from you and followed you out, rather than sitting in awkward silence. That's on them. If it wasn't you leaving, they'd have left after someone else. User outrageous bag 1722 comments. LOL, this exactly. Sounds like others were just waiting for someone to make the first move. User ADHD of crafts comments. Have people not been to a viewing before? Not the asshole at all. I've never been to a viewing where you couldn't talk. That's absurd, and nobody stays for the entire time. You come in, pay your respects, chat quietly with folks, and leave when you're ready. User Ronan the Lich comments, I've been to about 4 wakes and funerals for family members. The first 3, grandfather, uncle, and grandmother, were around 20 years ago, and each wake had 4 viewings over 2 days. I stayed for the entire length for all 3 of them. And you know what I did? Got up with family. I picked up my young cousin and swung her around, calling her Super her name, while singing the John Williams theme. In the hallway outside of the viewing room, of course. I chatted with my out-of-state cousins, and we joked and quoted movies with each other. The 4th was more recent when I had my own kids, and I chatted with cousins who had their own children as our children played together. I can't imagine being quiet for that long. Judgment, not the asshole. Update, 1 day later. Huge update. I spoke with my sister last night. She said that Sue and our aunt has been mad since our dad's funeral. My aunt always thought she was better than us. My dad worked with his hands and lived outside the town in a rural area. Our house was not nice, but worked for us. My dad was a handyman. He did a lot of work for people who could not afford to call a high-priced professional. Many times he did not charge for his emergency services. He would just tell people, buy him a case of Coca-Cola or a pack of cigarettes when they could. When he got sick, a lot of people from the community came to help out. There were people cooking in the house or bringing food. Someone cut the grass, washed our cars, cleaned in and around the house, etc. Many of these people said this was their way of paying Dad back for the work he had done for them. When he did pass, the funeral procession was huge. My aunt and Sue said that having those people at the funeral embarrassed them. Then, in contrast, there were not many people outside the family at my aunt's funeral. I guess when we left, she took it as a slight. I have not been close to them since I left the area years ago, so I'll carry on as usual. Say hi at the next wedding or funeral and keep moving. I mean, the aunt should have just lived a life that was actually worth celebrating and going for, because OP's father certainly did. One of my favorite things is to read obituaries about people that were just generally hated, but they're still trying to be as polite as possible. So it's sly comments like, a personality which certainly made an impact. Or comments like, we're all certain that she's certainly where she belongs now. Long story short, if you're embarrassed by how small the turnout is of your funeral, then maybe you should have lived a better life. This post was collected by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, it dawned on me that he was a wizard. The original OP is Prudent Extent 1765, posted to r/am I the asshole, would I be the asshole, public. Posted on April 24th, 2025. Am I the asshole for not wanting to share my birthday with a man I hate? I, 17 female, am turning 18 7 days after this post. I texted my group chat with around 8 people in it to invite them over to my house for an intimate birthday party. It will be the first time that I've had a birthday party since my sweet 16. Everyone responded with, "Sounds fun," and "I'll be there." And I went to bed. But when I woke up, I saw a text from him. I'll call him Bobby. For some quick background, Bobby is an asshole. He's a military kid that moved to my town in my junior year, and we've butted heads since day one. Some of my friends met him at church in the summer before junior year started, and off of first impressions, he seemed cool. But when he met me, we almost immediately didn't get along. In casual conversation, I mentioned that I was Catholic. He's Christian. And he proceeded to dog on my religion non-stop, insulting my beliefs and important members of the church for no reason other than to demean me. My friends, however, encouraged us to start over and try to be nice to each other. So, I tried. He did not. It's impossible to name all the fights we had, but one prominent one we had for context is from prom my junior year. I had gotten a Denny's gift card from work and told my friends that I would use it to get a round of pancakes for the group and something for me and my boyfriend at the time after the dance. And if they wanted anything else, they'd have to pay for it themselves. Everyone agreed, and we went around 1 a.m. When we went to pay, I paid my share with my gift card. Bobby, who had gotten a whole separate meal, realized that he had been overcharged by around $4 for a milkshake. He immediately blamed me. And here's how that conversation went. Bobby: "Hey, I was charged an extra $4. Me: "Well, that sucks. You should go talk to the waiter." Bobby: No, you need to go talk to the waiter." "Why would I do that?" "Because you said you would pay for everyone, but now I'm being charged. You need to get this figured out or you owe me $4. My friend: "Bobby, this doesn't make sense. Stop blaming her. It's probably a simple mistake. Was blank charged for their milkshake?" "No." "Well, then the waiter just charged you for your friends. Has nothing to do with her." Bobby, angrily to me: "I'm going to remember this," and walks out of the restaurant. Now that you have some context about some of the shit that he likes to pull, it makes sense why I don't want to share a birthday with him. And I should have to. The only reason why I still hang out with him sometimes is because a few of my friends are still friends with him, and I don't feel like tearing apart my 4-year-long friend group during our senior year over one person. Not worth my time. Anyways, he was held back in elementary school, and so instead of turning 18, he is turning 19 in 3 days. He already made plans to go to the movies with friends that day, and he's having a birthday dinner. So while he's not having a party that day, he still made plans for his birthday already. So I texted my friends and everyone was down to come to my birthday party on the day of my birthday. I go to bed around 9:30, and when I woke up at 6, I checked my phone and saw a text in the group chat from Bobby that said, "I would be hosting a birthday party that night, by the way. If y'all want to go to blanks instead, I understand. Or we could incorporate it in." In shock, I clarified that it was my birthday, and that even if I were to move it, which I would never, I couldn't, because I have softball districts and my clinicals for CNA all in a congested period of time right now. So my birthday is the only day that I could even have my friends over. His reasoning for having his party on that day was because it's the only day that one of his other friends could make it. My girlies have my back and aren't going to even entertain going to his party, but I'm scared to talk to some of my guy friends because they might choose to go to his party or leave my party early to go to his. I don't want to back down, but I'm tempted to have a girls-only party so I save myself the butthurt of possibly having some of my friends choosing him over me on my birthday. What should I do? Relevant/top comments. Opie responds to multiple comments about stopping hanging out with Bobby. Opie responds, "I never intentionally hang out with him, and I don't go to the stuff he hosts. I just don't want to start unnecessary drama 1 month before we all graduate and move away anyways. Don't want to split up the group with only 1 month left." Downvoted commenter: "What kind of Catholic thinks they're not a Christian? You're the OG Christian. I'm questioning the validity of this entire post if you're Catholic enough to bring it up in random conversations, but not Catholic enough to know you're Christian." OP responds, "I know I'm Christian. I should have specified that he is non-denominational. The point still stands that he doesn't respect me by mocking my faith. Commenter 1. Honestly, who cares if your guy friends go to the guy's party? Your girlfriend said they'll go to yours. Not everyone in your life is going to prioritize you. Everyone has a life that isn't going to center around your wants. Have your party. Be happy with those who go, and don't create drama with those who don't. Commenter 2. I hate bullies. All you can do is say, no, not going to combine, but if you want to move yours, feel free. And move on. Let things fall out as they do. If nothing else, your girlies will have a great time with you. If your guy friends can't see the behavior, it's probably better not to have them around anyway. Happy birthday! Enjoy it, no matter what it looks like. Update, May 4th, 2025, 10 days later. So it's been a hectic but good week. Basically, I did nothing. I sat back and let things play out. After being talked to by a few of my friends, Bobby backed down and said he tried to find a different date. And that was chill. I felt very relieved. However, the night before my birthday, I received a text saying, would we be able to have a joint party tomorrow night? The only reason why I wanted a separate one is because I wanted to spend it with blank, friend that's moving, before he moves away. But if he'd be able to come, would that be fine? I'm willing to help pay for some of the food too. End quote. After about 30 minutes of thinking, I responded with this. I'm not comfortable with having blank over for my birthday tomorrow. This is planned to be a very intimate hangout of not just my friends, but my family too. If you want to be with him instead, then I totally understand and support that. I'm so sorry that he's moving, but my family and I aren't wanting to change tomorrow's plans. So I'm going to stick with just the people I invited. And he responds with just, okay. So it's the afternoon of, and he texts the group chat saying he was inviting a bunch of people over for his birthday party, even though his birthday was over and it was my birthday. And he was gonna start his party at 5. And he knew that my party started at 5. And he said he was gonna have like a big swimming and shooting thing planned. I immeasurably stressed out again because why did he reinstate his plans again? And will the idea of shooting make my friends want to go to his party instead? But instead of responding, I just sit back and let things play out. Long story short, everyone showed up and stayed the whole night. We had tons of fun, and no one even mentioned leaving to go to his place. Everyone had the full intention of spending the day with me and my family. Later, I look at his Insta story and see that the only people that showed up to his party was his friend that's moving and his girlfriend. It was a very happy ending, well, for me at least, and I know that my friends are the most loyal. Less than 3, or heart emoticon. Top comments, commenter 1. Sometimes it just takes holding your ground and being principled to get a good outcome. I'm glad your birthday went the way you wanted. Commenter 2. Sounds like he wanted drama and no one was for it. I'm glad you got to have a fun birthday party. Good on OP for choosing the most adult thing to do and just letting things play out, especially when they didn't need to fully interact with him and just kinda watch him plot out his own grave there. I will say additionally though that I simultaneously miss high school but do not miss it at all. I miss the times where this was actually all I had to really worry about was just random friend bullshit in school and not taxes and bills and worrying about how I'm gonna pay next month's bills. In the adult drama that can escalate into legal action. Yay. But I also definitely do not miss how everything in high school felt like it was inflated to the end of the world when really, it just wasn't. So for like the couple members of my audience who are still in high school, trust me, the drama you're going through now, it won't matter, and you'll be okay.
Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.